The government of Cameroon has dismissed information that it has engaged into ceasefire talks with separatist leaders. A statement from the Minister of Communication, Emmanuel Sadi, says that the news circulating on social media is not consistent with reality. We shall be having details in this newscast. The Cameroon Chamber of Commerce, Mines, Industries and Craft is voting 150 members to make the plenary assembly of the organization. This body will pilot the affairs of the structure for the next mandate. Amongst the candidates seeking re-election into office is Nsoesie Mukete IV, who in this newscast will be telling us his motivation behind his seeking to return to office, not leaving out 4 men who have been nabbed in the economic capital Douala after they were nabbed for selling human bones. We shall be bringing you more details right ahead. Those are top stories. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us. You're watching the Primetime Newscast on STV. The Cameroon government has dismissed information that it has engaged into ceasefire talks with leaders of separatist movements in the northwest and southwest regions of the country. A statement from the Minister of Communication yesterday says that the news which has been circulating on social media for days now is inconsistent with reality. But what exactly does that mean? Our reporter Josephine Binzi tells us more.
Inconsistency and incoherence with reality was the message that dropped like a bombshell yesterday as the Minister of Communication, Emmanuel Sadi, in the first paragraph of a press release, cleared the air on rumors of negotiation between sentenced Anglophone separatist leaders and members of government. The social media hype has been as a result of a tweet from Siseko Ayuktabe's Twitter accounts reaffirming suspicions of a confidential ceasefire negotiation as to get a tangible solution to the ongoing crisis in Cameroon's English-speaking regions. This news came as comfort to many following the United Nations call for global ceasefire in all crisis-hit zones in the world to better tackle the coronavirus pandemic on the 12th of June 2020. Government in the press release has reaffirmed its readiness to peace talks and negotiation, but the ability for peace to return, definitely in the restive regions, reposes on the hands of armed groups as they reiterate that they drop their weapons and accept the head of state's offer for reconstruction and reintegration. Government stresses that the defense and security forces will, in accordance of the law and regulation of the land, perform their duty in protecting the citizens in those zones. This confirms many demilitarization pleas by some political actors or international communities as one of the means to resolve the crisis in the troubled zones.
Members of Parliament and government officials are exchanging ideas on the medium-term economic and budgetary orientation for 2021 to 2023. The Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Hilarion Etong, is chairing the proceedings in Yaoundé. The Minister of Finance, Ripo Mutaze, who has been answering questions from about 20 MPs this afternoon, has announced a special plan for the reconstruction of the Far North region gripped by the Boko Haram insurgency. This, he explains, is thanks to the efforts of the Cameroon government and the African Development Bank. Now, delegates from the Chamber of Commerce, Mines, Industries and Craft are voting the plenary assembly, which will oversee activities of the structure for the next mandate. The new team has a tough task to facilitate commercial exchanges at the time when the coronavirus and security shocks are hitting the economy of Cameroon. Josephine Binzi tells us that 150 candidates are gunning for positions. Amongst them is Nsoesie Mukete IV, who tells us his motivation to return to office.
Finding a synergy between government and the private sector, the Chamber of Commerce has today in the littoral region voted the governing body to oversee the decision of the chambers in the next mandate. Chief Ekoko IV Mukete performed his voting right as a contestant.
Looking at this mandate as a very important one, we are coming in at a time when we're facing coronavirus, we are facing a very difficult economic environment, And the population and the private sector in general is looking for support, not just from the public sector, but they are expecting their representative to carry forth their concerns to government, and also for the government is expecting us also to carry back their vision to the private sector, so as a team, the public and private sector can work together.
Members express satisfaction even as they anticipate a dazzling future for the commercial sector in the country. I think that in the core of the Chamber of Commerce, I will do my part to estimate the limits. What can we really do at this stage to stop the social shock absorber we still have in Cameroon, especially in commerce? Nothing. Many have this conception that petty trading is an informal trade, but it is on this sector that Cameroon's economic draws strength from. Though immediate answers cannot be brought forth due to the stringent nature of the economy propelled by the COVID-19 pandemic, he remains positive about Cameroon's economic future.
We don't have the answers to the difficult economic environment we're facing, brought about also by coronavirus, made worse by coronavirus. But we hope to hit the ground running and to address solutions, find solutions, and address them as we go along, because the problem is changing, it's mutating all the time, and it's not just for Cameroon, it's for the entire world. So we are praying that this mandate will give us the opportunity to truly meet up to the expectations of the government and also the private sector, but more importantly, the private sector who we represent.
Though Cameroon's economic sector has been on bended knees since the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, the results of the elections will be a determinant to take Cameroon's economic sector to the place where they are expected to be.
3 suspects have been nabbed by the 2nd Gendarmerie Region for allegedly issuing fake medical certificates and council stamps to the public. Reports say that the trio have been in the illicit practice for over 2 years now, and investigations have been opened to arrest accomplices. Ladonet only with the details.
The 2nd Gendarmerie Region have captured 3 Cameroonians allegedly involved in issuing fake medical certificates, council stamp, among other documents to inhabitants in the city of Douala. A practice that has been going on for over 2 years.
Vous savez, la gendarmerie nationale travaille en étroite collaboration avec les populations, lesquelles concourent, n'est-ce pas, à la sécurisation. The
National Gendarmerie works in strict collaboration with the public. It's from there that we got the information on people detracting state funds, precisely the sale of fake documents, stamps, falsified state stamps. The information helped us in catching these 3 people.
Alors, l'exploitation de ces renseignements nous a permis de mettre la main sur un trio que vous venez de filmer là.
The leader of this group, popularly known as Monsieur le Maire, has refuted all allegations, claiming he is in no possession of a falsified document and that he is a council worker. I'm not guilty to all this accusation. It's manipulation. I'm a council worker. His collaborators, 40-year-old Raiza and 43-year-old Emilien, have pleaded ignorant of this fraudulent act.
Comme toute Camerounaise, à la recherche d'un emploi.
Just like every Cameroonian in search of employment, Mr. Chapchet, my husband worked in a garage near his locality. He called my husband one day saying, "I see your wife is hardworking and I want that she comes and deposit her document. I will take her to work at the council." We worked for 6 months without me knowing it was all fake.
On a travaillé 6 mois sans problème, sans que je ne sache que c'était du faux. J'étais dans le besoin, je l'ai contacté et puis.
When I was in need, I contacted him. I had to take care of the family needs, so he made me understand that we were to work together. I didn't know we were delivering fake documents. This trio is being presented this day so as to sensitize the ignorant public of the existence of such persons in the society and the vigilance of all.
Et surtout pour la sensibilisation des personnes, des commerçants surtout, qui ont été victimes depuis belle lurette par des inconscients.
We are here so as to sensitize market sellers who fall victim to this. They give out fake medical certificates. They give out fake receipts, claiming it's the council, while it's not.
Ils ont les faux certificats médicaux. Ils délivrent les reçus de la communauté urbaine, alors que tout a déjà changé, la dénomination.
From the station, these trio will be presented to the district attorney, and investigations are still going on so as to nab all those involved in such practices.
In a related development, 4 other persons have been arrested. To this time, they are accused of trying to sell human bones. The traffickers arrived the economic capital from the northwest region looking forward to sell their illicit merchandise when they were picked up by security forces. Ladonet Oni reports.
$30 million CFA francs, according to investigations, is the price offered by a customer for these human bones. A group of 4, suspected to be human part traffickers, have been arrested by the Douala 2 National Gendarmerie during their night patrol. The suspects were nailed down by the forces of law and order at Dogbom in the Douala 5 municipality with a bag full of skeletons.
Dans la nuit du 4 au 5 juillet 2020, pendant nos patrouilles nocturnes,
on the night of 4 July 2020, during one of our night patrols, we caught 4 presumed human bone traffickers at Dogbom.
Au niveau de Dogbom,
it is in the course of same night patrol that 46-year-old suspected armed bandit was nabbed by armed forces in possession of different dangerous weapons like guns, bullets.
Poursuivant nos missions de protection des personnes et des biens, ce même week-end, nous avons eu à interpeller au niveau de Bounamoussadi aux environs de 23 heures.
In the course of our mission to protect inhabitants on the same weekend at Bonamusadi around 11 p.m., we caught an alleged armed bandit wanted in the city of Douala. He specializes in stealing from homes of civil servants. At the time we caught him, he was preparing for an operation and had in possession 2 guns, 42 bullets, and after searching through his house, we found 26 bullets.
Modèle AP et de marque Karl Walker. Plus 42 munitions, 3 boîtes chargeurs et 8 anneaux d'attache. Et après la perquisition de son domicile, on a pu également trouver 23 munitions.
The forces of law and order is calling on the population to be cooperative in eradicating criminals in the society.
In the nation's capital, Yaoundé, systematic search operations have intensified after artisanal bombs were discovered by security forces in some neighborhoods in the country's chief capital. Today's exercise by law enforcement officials took them to the Mokolo and Efula neighborhoods. The population have been charged to collaborate with the forces of law and order and be in possession of their national identity cards. The operation, which began a few days ago, is supervised by the governor of the Central Region, Nsoesie Paul Bea. Over in the Southwest region, municipal councils in Kumba will begin the rehabilitation of some roads within the division. This follows an evaluation of roads in Kumba, chief town of Meme division, by the senior divisional officer for Meme, Chamberlain Tuandong. Katrin Kone has more.
This is the deplorable nature of road in Kumba, chief town of the Meme division Southwest region. Commuting from one end of the town to another has become a veritable nightmare to the inhabitants. The town is now filled with potholes and stagnant water at every given downpour. With this lamentable situation, the senior divisional officer for Meme descended on the field to evaluate the level of degradation of the road that links to neighboring villages.
Concerning particularly this stretch of road, last week I received firm instruction from the minister reacting to our plea. He said that he should make an evaluation of the work which is supposed to be done from Kaketu to Kakli Johnson. And from tomorrow, the team in charge are going to start this exercise. But while waiting at the local level, you are going to see, because you are the one using the road, you are the one facing all those obstacles. While waiting for the reaction from the state, from the government, you are going to see locally what to do. What you are saying, the national road, is true, but you are the one suffering. You are the one who need to use this particular stretch of the road.
The poor nature of the road has been blamed on the poor construction works carried out. The inhabitants review the intolerable state of the road has not only impeded economic growth, but has become a death trap to commuters.
The Douala City Council has today launched a special campaign targeting transporters and traders, urging them to respect barrier measures against the coronavirus. The move comes within a disturbing context marked by increasing COVID-19 cases in the economic capital Douala. Christelle Asek-Swele.
Utilisation contre le coronavirus. Coronavirus tue. Et lorsqu'il t'a tué, tu meurs.
Drivers of the urban and interurban transport sector of Douala this day, July 7, 2020, at the Rond-Point Daido Boulevard were the main target of the sensitization campaign team to curb the spread of the coronavirus disease, led by the Senior Divisional Officer for Wuri, Benjamin Butu. Initiated by the delegate of Wuri alongside the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Civics Education, accompanied by the regional delegation of Littoral, this campaign comes exactly 4 months since the first infected case of coronavirus was detected in Cameroon.
Notre objectif, c'est de sensibiliser tout ce bon monde, l'ensemble des commerçants de tous les marchés de Douala, de tous les arrondissements, Douala 1er, 2e, 3e, 4e et 5e, sensibiliser les transporteurs par moto-taxi, taxi, car et autobus.
This sensitization campaign of traders and drivers of the urban and interurban transport sector of Wuri will run until July 11, 2020.
Today, July 7, 2020, marks exactly 4 months since COVID-19 was detected in Cameroon. The coronavirus has induced new behavioral patterns on the population since its detection in the country. Christophe Asek-Swele has been observing the situation and our reports. We apologize for the poor sound quality of that report. We shall be coming back in our subsequent editions of the news. The European Union has given the sum of 9 million euros, rather, that's about 6 billion CFA francs to the Cameroonian government for the fight against COVID-19. An accord for the disbursement of the money has been sealed today in Yaoundé between the Minister in charge of Economy, Planning and Regional Development, Alamine Ousmane Mey, and Hans-Peter Shadek, the head of the EU office in Cameroon. The accord falls within the framework of the Economic Partnership Agreement and follows the contribution of about 18 billion francs CFA already from the European Union to assist Cameroon in developmental initiatives. And ophthalmologists in the economic capital Douala say that there has been an increasing number of persons with eye complications. The Acha Annex Hospital in Douala has been one of the structures receiving cases on a daily. Experts blame the situation on exposure to mobile phones, computers, and other electronic devices. Katrin Kone reports.
Despite its assistance in the execution of our jobs and communication with friends and family, excessive exposure to mobile phones and computers appears to be affecting the visuals of most users. This follows the massive consultation recorded these days in the eye units of some hospitals in the city of Douala.
We noticed that the visual needs of patients has increased tremendously. In the past, our parents didn't used to need to look at phones, to look at messages. Now they have to look at their phones, their messages. So that's it. We see that they come to hospital complaining about all those things. So
he says the disturbing situation can be prevented if.
Yes, these diseases are what we call they cause preventable forms of blindness. Like cataract, for example, is a curable cause of blindness. After surgery, the patient gets the vision is revised and he sees well. Refraction, if a patient has a refractive error, a patient who was not seeing very well, after being prescribed the glasses, the vision improves, and that's almost like preventing the patient from going blind. Then there are also other childhood diseases like measles, rubella, toxo. These are preventable forms of blindness that when you go to when the antenatal, when the mothers have their vaccines during the antenatal clinics and the postnatal clinics, this help to prevent the children from getting all these diseases. And vitamin A too is also very important because it prevents vitamin A diseases that cause blindness, like measles too. So.
However, individuals have been advised to use medicated glasses in order to prevent other eye pathologies.
Out of the country, Native Americans experience higher rates of unemployment than their fellow American citizens, and with COVID-19 biting the Native American population, the combination has caused undue hardship, especially for people of the Navajo nations. We have details with the VOA.
Where Utah meets Arizona sits Monument Valley. Its iconic sandstone formations make it the crown jewel of the Navajo Nation Reservation, the biggest Native American territory in the United States. But lately, the park has been empty and its access forbidden.
During this time, every season, there would be thousands and thousands of visitors per day, but because of the pandemic, all our scenic destinations are closed.
Locals suffering from a lack of income are lining up at the park's entrance, eager to pick up donations of water, food, and cleaning products.
It's really helpful for the families, especially us who don't have money and don't have a job right now.
Jonathan Nez says it took too long for the U.S. government to send federal funds.
The CARES Act was intended to give relief to all U.S. citizens throughout the country. But the first citizens of this country, of this land, didn't get immediate attention.
The Navajo Nation has been hit hard by the COVID-19 pandemic, suffering the highest case rate in the country. For the past 2 months, the number of confirmed infections has continued to grow. But in this small health center, only one doctor is on duty. Dr. Key carries out his consultations in a parking lot.
Hello, Dolly.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
Dolly Crank tested positive for the coronavirus.
Well, I called this morning earlier that I wasn't feeling good, that my coughing is starting to get worse with my breathing, shortness of breath.
We do seem to have a population that is very susceptible because of the diabetes, heart disease, obesity, and the fact that in the homes there's very little space and a lot of people living in small spaces.
In the sovereign territory the size of Ireland, at least 30% of residents do not have running water. Many families depend on public water stations like this one. Amanda Larson and her 3 children fill up a dozen big bottles.
We come every couple days, every 3 days we come and we refill all of these, and this is all the jugs we have.
Yeah, daily routine, in and out.
Larson must ration water to cook, wash clothes, and bathe her children.
I would have my kids wash at least every 2 days, but now that this pandemic is here, they're washing basically every day. To me, it's embarrassing. It's degrading. It's heartbreaking for my kids.
The pandemic has also become a challenge for the nation's oral history. Transmission of knowledge, essential among Native Americans, has been carried out within families for centuries, typically by the elderly. But since they are the most vulnerable to the virus, many are scared they will lose this living memory.
For our ancestors, they're the wisdom keepers. They have the knowledge.
Navajo families are singing and praying to protect their elders. And they're staying home, confined in the big open spaces of the American West. Julie Tabo, VOA News.
And that report caps this edition of the Primetime Newscast on STV. Thank you very much for watching. More news comes up at 8 p.m. From the entire team, have a good night.